congratulations on Krampus. After walking through the experience, I'm super stoked to see it. Can you talk a little bit about ScareHouse and why it was important to create a tangible experience for Krampus and Trick or Treat?
There's a certain joy that comes when you mix screams and laughter, and ScareHouse gets that, and it matches the tone of the films also, which are scary but also just a lot of fun.
So after watching the trailer and reading more about the story, I got a sense of a deranged How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Obviously Krampus has its own mythology, but did you get any other inspirations from other classics?
All of them. I mean, it was a fun experience sort of revisiting a lot of Christmas movies and figuring out what things they all had in common and sort of how we can put our own twist on it and then merge it with a completely different genre.
I really love when horror movies enlist established actors that aren't really known for the genre. I think Wes Craven really broke through that barrier with Drew Barrymore in Scream. What kind of element do you think that adds to the film?
Well, you know, when you cast someone like this, or Adam Scott, or Toni Collette, Alison Tolman, they throw your audience, you know, because we're not casting a bunch of 5 pretty 20-somethings playing teenagers. It's actors that you recognize and enjoy from other genres. It helps make everything a little bit more believable.
I was just delighted. Honestly, the cast you put together was just perfect, and all of them were so different and had such different careers.
Yeah.
And for all of us to come together and make this thing was so much fun. And I'd met all of them before, but never had a chance to work with them.
This is delicious, honey.
It's a little dry.
Well, mine's delicious.
Mine's dry.
Do you want to trade?
I would go out and do a play with these guys.
Yeah.
So much fun.
We could.
Yeah.
We could do the musical.
Krampus the musical.
Absolutely.
It's so unusual, Krampus the musical.
It just writes itself.
Absolutely. Talking about your character, the film centers around a dysfunctional family. You play the guy that everyone dreads meeting at family functions. Typically they don't end well. So can you talk about your character Howard a little bit?
Howard is conservative and determined and stubborn.
But noble.
But noble.
Yeah.
Kind of a hero.
Unsung hero.
I don't know how much you read Joseph Campbell, but he's certainly, you know, represented in the traditional hero framework. And that's who I represent, not only in life, but certainly on film, often.
How we were going to survive Christmas with 12 people stuck in a house with no heat and no electricity.
Or food.
There's plenty of leftovers, Howard.
Beer it is. No, Howard and his, you know, he's pig-headed.
But he means well.
He does mean well.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of what the film is you're sort of presented with these family archetypes from different classes.
Right.
I keep talking about it, it's like Old Navy versus J. Crew, Republican, Democrat, left, right, but they're all sort of forced to exist in this family home around the holidays and get along. But of course, the tension that erupts from these wildly different outlooks, they blow up. And that's really what sort of allows Krampus to enter the picture.
With those holiday greetings and gifts.
Walking through the experience last night, we got a peek at some of the costume designs, which is beautifully twisted work. Can you talk about the inspiration behind that and how they're implemented in the film?
What a Workshop did a great job designing the wardrobe and the creatures together. Most films, you know, your creature guys design the creatures and then the wardrobe people take over and try and find the right cloth and materials and come up with a look, but we lucked out in that What a Workshop specializes in handling both. So they did a great job at really making sure that both Krampus, the elves, and a lot of the other helpers came from a distinct culture and that they felt old, that the materials they used were, you know, actual wolf hair or yak or just the leather and bones and things like that. So it just has an authenticity that you wouldn't normally get.
So can you touch a little bit on the other characters besides Krampus? Like, what else can we expect to see in the movie?
It's an ensemble picture, not just on the family side, but also the creatures themselves. And in a lot of ways, I think Krampus sort of represents the third family that crashes the party. But, you know, something that a more original thing that we added to his mythology is that he doesn't work by himself.
Right.
So, you know, Krampus, or Santa, has his workshop full of reindeer and elves and other helpers. So does Krampus.
Nothing bad's gonna happen on Christmas.
You have films like ATM and Child's Play that kind of drop their narrative into a Christmas setting, or a seasonal setting, I should say, and then you have films like Black Christmas and now Krampus that just tackle the mythology head on. What attracted you to the latter?
The first 15 minutes or so is just straight Christmas dramedy, to the point where if the horror and the supernatural stuff never entered the picture, I wanted to be invested enough in this family and these characters that you'd be willing just to watch the film play out just as a dramedy. It just makes it more fun to sort of introduce the dark fairy tale into the picture and make these characters that you grow attached to in the first 15 minutes go through a living hell together.